in the atmosphere, moving in synergy, this electricity, the power of the pioneers, tearing through history, this is our destiny. We are the power, we are the change, we are the pioneers of paradise and fame, and we push it louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers, we are the pioneers. We are the power, we are the change, we are the pioneers of paradise and fame, and we push it louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers, we are the pioneers, we are the power, we are the change, we are the pioneers of paradise and fame. We push it louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers, we are the pioneers.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Hello and welcome to the ESL Challenger League Season 45 playoffs. I'm Wolfie, I'm not Dean. Blimey, my brain is fried today. I am
What
Wolfie.
the hell?
Dean is joining me. We
I'm
look similar,
Wolfie.
but we are
swap for
individual
today.
and distinct people. How you doing today, mate?
I'm doing good. Took us a while to actually know what game we were going to have here because there was some questions about whether that 1-win game in the upper bracket was going to happen or not. But that's going forward. We get the B8 versus 9 game, and I'm glad that we have this one on our stream because it should be pretty entertaining. I think this is one that could be quite close, could potentially go to full 3 maps and give us hopefully something to keep us on the edge of our seats. Of course, this is an elimination match as well, so
Yeah, all to play for. I mean, EPL Pro League slots on the line at the end of the day, right? That's what you get when you start to get through these, get into your conferences, get your real opportunities at the big prizes. And I think for both of these teams, arguably that should be where the aspirations are, right? You've got Nine, a team who made major legends, a B8, a team who were knocking around and really doing some damage until a late string of major play ups as well. So, I mean, we can take a look at the matchup, take a look at some of the individuals that are coming into play here, but these are two teams with an immense amount of talent on their lineups.
Yeah, I think I've maybe only got to cover B8 like once though in the past, so it's a team I'm not quite as familiar with. Wrinkle looks to be an incredibly talented player, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do in this game. Nine, on the other hand, I think everyone is familiar with the names across the board here. It's full of players who have been around in that Polish scene for as long as I can remember. So, yeah, I think definitely in terms of experience, you've got Nine who should be coming out ahead in this one. But again, B8 are an incredibly talented group of young individuals. So
Yeah, probably worth bringing up while we're on the screen that Alex666 has actually been benched by B8. They're playing with a new lad called Kalash
yeah.
out of Kazakhstan. Not someone you're going to have heard of. Has played on a couple of teams, but nobody of any specific stature, really nothing significant. This is his first shot at the big time, if you would call it that. And it's a big opportunity, right? I mean, B8, they were one of those teams where initially coming into the major and at the RMRs, they were doing some really serious damage. They were taking some scalps, and people started to think that, yeah, maybe we could see this team do some damage, but just seemed to lose steam in the best of threes. As soon as those BO3s started to come around, it's where some of these lesser teams can get unpicked a little bit when they've got to go the full distance in the series. And that was where they started to fall apart. Very similar, in fact, to the story of Nine. Yeah, and kind of discussing the vetoes and discussing how this one's going to go. A team that in a BO1 have a fantastic map pool, some very, very strong maps in there, incredibly strong on Vertigo, as anyone who watched the major will know. Very, very competent on their nuke as well, but some gaping holes in it as well based on their ancient, which is, if we're going to be nice about it, pretty abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, they played it like 13 times in the past 3 months and haven't had a single note of success there. So that's pretty dreadful, as you said. Inferno is also the map that they go towards as an insta-ban, which is, I mean, fair enough. Most teams do like to play Inferno, but I still feel like that's probably a map you should have within your pool. They're also not that great on Mirage. It's another map that most teams tend to go towards when they feel like they have a bit of an upper hand against them. And alongside that, I'd say their overpass could probably be a little bit better. So they've kind of got three maps in the bag there, as you were saying: Vertigo, Nuke, and then I'd say Anubis is kind of their third one, which is a bit more middle ground for them overall. So as you said, when it comes into these best of threes, once they get rid of Inferno as an insta-ban, there's 2 or 3 maps left there that are quite weak for them, that most teams are going to have at least 1 or 2 of that they themselves are quite strong on.
Yeah, and we have got those vetoes that I'll rattle off for you to give you an idea of where we're headed for this one. So, Overpass and Inferno, the two permabans, absolutely expected. No surprises there. BA actually picking into Mirage, which is a brave decision because it does feel like when you look at Nine and you look at these BO3 vetoes, Ancient just sticks out like a sore thumb, right? It's there for the taking. It's not a map they're confident on. It's not a map they play particularly well against sort of any of the teams in the run in the major, and even going back a couple of months before that. So they've left that out. They've gone for the Mirage pick, which we can dissect either way. It feels a little bit brave. I mean, it's a hot and cold map for Nine. They do have some decent wins in there as well, some perhaps slightly surprising losses. So very middle ground. Nine, obviously, immediately pick into Vertigo. It's open. It's their best map in the pool. They are going to look to just slam that one through absolutely every day of the week. Second string of bans, B8 then take Anubis out of the equation, which is fair enough. Again, it's sort of that third hovering map for Nine where you think they look pretty damn solid on it. Nine then immediately ban out Ancient, which is to be expected because they are naff on it. And Nuke is the decider. And when we were talking about this veto before the stream went live, we were saying if it can go to 3, Nuke would be the banger to end all banger of deciders because both of these teams are very confident on it. Both of these teams play a very good Nuke. And there's a ton of potential if we can get to that third.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen because I do think that the B8 pick of Mirage is a pretty big risk. I feel like Ancient, it's a stronger map for B8 themselves. They play it a lot more often, and Nine are just a lot worse there than they are on Mirage. So I'm not too sure what exactly has happened there. Other than that, though, I think the veto has gone pretty much as planned. So I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen on map one now. I think if Mirage could potentially be the decider here early on. If it does go the way of B8, they could set themselves up in a great position then, because I mean they're an okay Vertigo team. They can definitely put up a fight there, but as we were saying, if they can get it to nuke, they're really strong there as well. So yeah, I mean it's all kind of up in the air on map one, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way, and it feels like a very odd choice to lean towards. I mean, you can kind of see a world where B8 would almost psych themselves out of the Ancient pick, right? Which is Nine know they're not solid on Ancient. They know they've got a gap there, so they should be going home and doing a lot of homework and really working hard on improving the Ancient, right? So
Hasn't helped
you
the
can
last 13
feel.
times.
I mean, exactly. It's 13 in 3 months. So it's clearly something they need a lot of work on. But you can feel a world where B8 have gone and psyched themselves out and gone, Nine are going to be going away and they are going to be working on their Ancient. So we're going to pick into something that maybe we're a little more confident on. And maybe we think Nine may, put on the back burner a little bit, leave it over there while we focus on our Ancient. And I mean, Mirage is not an awful map for B8 by any means. Some good wins in there. Navi Jr. taking out Into the Breach in the RMRs in a double overtime, a win against Nexus in advance. But it's certainly not a good map for them. It's very middle ground. And like you said, that it's a very middle for Nine as well. So it really does feel like it is all going to be up on that first map of Mirage. But of course, if we want to see that first map, if we want to see how this series pans out, we've got to get through the ad breaks first. We've got to get the players nice and ready in the server and ready to go. So we are going to be going to a very quick break. And when we're back, we'll have our first map for you.
I'm still not enough. You wanna be done with him, you're stuck with him, 'cause you don't have the guts. And after all I've done, I'm still not enough. Still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here reusing that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you rescue?
right, getting into the action on Mirage, a map that may prove critical to B8's chances of turning this one into a competitive series. Over on the inside, of course, 9 immediately goes CT, and immediately Raid Boss, E and Goofy with a set of Julies apiece, which might see some action over towards this B site.
Very likely, considering all 5 players are stacked in this direction. 2 of them hanging back as they put the smokes down, but struggle for the initial kill, but the second comes easy, as does the third. Hades finishes off Captain Kurtka, so he doesn't have to put any more down, at least not yet. It's all on the owner now, and well, with a couple of headshots to his name so far, he's putting up a small bit of a fight, but it's going to be tough to do anymore as Minio puts the final bullet in towards him and ends it in favor of 9. A very convincing pistol round. As we said, Kylar, slight trouble with the first kill, but he made up for it big time.
Yeah, initially a little bit scrappy, but when your second, your third look that good, I don't think anyone is going to be particularly fussed about it. Relatively
First round,
smooth
you know,
saving.
A few seconds of warm-up.
exactly.
I thought that was pretty quick adjustment from being rusty to crisp as hell, man. If anything, that's impressive.
Yeah. We'll give him the credit where credit's due. The second and the third, very, very nice shots, and sets his team up beautifully here. No bomb plant for B8, so of course immediately down onto the full eco. Handful of SMGs picked up by 9 to try and farm some cash, but it's Key who's taking all of the contact and does need to be a little bit cautious with it. Starts to call in the reinforcements, and there's Goofy with his MP9 in tow, looking to farm himself up a lovely bit of cash. Owner, though, again, couple of kills off that P250. One of the M4s is going to go down as well. Minio not in a position to recover, so that's not a bad result from B8 at all.
No, not terrible. They'll be coming straight onto the rifles now as well, so they have a chance to try and capitalize on the bit of damage that Owner has been able to connect over the past couple of rounds. Looks like they might even be expecting perhaps some aggression. It's not really a bonus round though from 9. They've got pretty much M4s across the board, just one MP9 then on Minio. So while they are looking to challenge a bit on mid, other than that, the setup looks fairly standard indeed. They are taking their time before they will likely move in towards this mid control, so we'll probably see a clash in this direction. I like Kia's position, actually pushed up mid, watching towards under now. They have a strong setup, one that should at least be somewhat expected here by BA, considering they've given up all this control.
Nice flash over the top. Key in a perfect position to capitalize and does manage to grab a double. Trades start to come through. Captain Kurtka trying to keep his team in this one, but the damage done is just too much. And at this point, it's all on Owner. Again, does very well to adjust down to the first, but with a minute still on the clock, top mid control lost, and very shortly the bomb lost with it. This is going to turn into a nightmare scenario for Owner. Kylar wants the fight as well. Hades does leave his head just a little exposed for a second there, but not able to take advantage. As 9 get their clean 3-0. 3 for players going down, not ideal for the CT economy. But they get past the round, and again, really restricting B8 in terms of bomb plants, playing very proactively, as you see here, into the top mid angles. It means that T-side economy just doesn't get a chance to get going, so even this half buy is going to look very lackluster.
Yeah, I mean, it really just has Deagles, mostly a scout. No one's really come alive yet on that BA side either, which is a little bit worrying. As we had said, coming into the veto, we were expecting the Ancient pick. It looked like the clear choice for BA to go. Instead, they brought out Mirage, which personally I thought was probably going to end up as a decider, if not nuke. Didn't expect it to be the pick, as Hades just shuts them down on mid. A collat on the initial one, it was only pistols and scouts, so not too much to deal with, but still impressive. And to ensure that they're not going to take any damage this time around as well, it's always nice to just deal with these pistols cleanly, and that's exactly how it's going to go. Kylar with another kill, Wrinkles now left alone, and if you can get 1 or 2 kills, that'd be nice, but really 9 don't even have to give him the opportunity, and Kylar pops his head up. That doesn't matter, so fast on the trigger. 4-0, a solid start here from 9, and as we said, for BA here, Mirage is pretty much a must-win.
Yeah, it was a nice idea, that top mid peak, and you could see the principle, right? Get 3 people coming in at slightly different angles, then he can only hit one of you, and there's 2 people available to trade. It makes a lot of sense, except for when 2 of you line up and he gets 2 of you with 1 bullet. Little unfortunate. You could see the idea in principle for B8, but just not quite there on the execution. Worth mentioning perhaps that 9 have already played a game today, so looking nice and warm for B8. This is their first, and well, with this rifle buy, they look very keen on trying to pile some pressure onto the A site. Goofy relatively untested. Same can be said of Minio as well, has only really played an MP9 inside of the site, hasn't had to do too much more than that. So I like the idea, have to see where the execute starts to pan out, because there's already 3 players in fast rotation positions for the CT side of 9. They've trusted Kylar over towards B solo, and that's the right call. It's going to give them a lot of presence as this A hit looks to come out. Smoke goes down just to buy a little more time for the CT side. There's the first.
Yeah, I was going to say strong positions. You have Goofy ahead of the smokes. You have a lot of players already here with utility to support him. And, well, with an initial 2 kills already going the way of 9, B8 are just getting held up around Tetris and Ramp. This is not working out for them. One trade finally back, but look at the amount of damage that they've taken just trying to get out onto this bomb site. They've still got to fight their way forward, and they are doing so. Owner has shown what he's capable of over these initial rounds. Just needs his teammates to step up and help him out, and unfortunately that hasn't been happening as much as he needs. Wrinkle, though, gives them some hope. They have the control towards the CT spawn as well.
Flash is available. Timing is everything, though, and Hades catches him, nade in hand. Wrinkle now left to try and clutch up. Bomb not even planted for him. Should just be a question of timing for 9 now. If they can get out onto that site, they've got kits available. Shouldn't be too much problem now for Hades just to stick this one down. A 5 seconds shouldn't be any kind of a problem. Wrinkle knows he's got to get a shift on, and it's just not going to happen. 5th on the board. Hades will skip his way back into CT, recover the AWP. And that's another really well-managed round from 9. Good read to only have 1 over towards B, and as you said, have that much presence in the A site, playing ahead of the smokes. I mean, Owner's done just about everything he can in every round. He's found 1 or 2 entry kills at the bare minimum, but nobody's joining him on the T side at the moment. It's just making it all too easy for 9 to pick the pieces apart.
No, I mean, we're getting slight glimpses. I mean, Wrinkle got a little bit done there. Captain Kirk has had his moments as well, but really it's only been Owner who's shown what they're capable of so far. And well, obviously this is not the start they would have been hoping for. 5-0 with a pretty firm economy beginning to build on that CT side, and already an advantage off the op of Hades. Very quick on the mid control though, BA wanting to at least find some sort of a response. Fortunately not able to hunt that kill up connector, and 9 don't really need to give them these fights either. They have the 5-on-4, they have tons of time, they have utility, everything they want on the CT side. They can sit back and just let BA feel the pressure really.
Really nice from Hades just to rotate his angle. Wasn't expected.
Kylar has great control in B apps.
They've got great control everywhere. Key picks off the connector play from Amster, and I mean, this should be traded 1 for 1 or not. Nice shot, Wrinkle. Starting to make something of this one as Kalash has found another onto Kylar. And suddenly this B site somewhat under siege. 2 angles at once, too many for Goofy. This is more like it from B8. They've broken open the B site. Hades is going to try and play proactively with this AWP. He's straight out the window, but he's been heard. He's been spotted and dealt with by Captain Kirker. Minio, he's been on this flank for a long old while now. He's got 1. Teammate is a little isolated. Wrinkle dinked up in the opening engagement out towards short. Does just leave Kalash inside of the site itself. Minio trying to bait every kind of a sound cue he can. He's managed to draw 1 out. And now it is into that 1v1. Wrinkle on 2 HP. A little bit of smoke span. Very nearly finds its connection. Minio now to try and stick it down, but he's got no kit. He needs the full 10 seconds. The kit is out on short. The spray through the smoke not connecting. B8 think they've got it, and little do they know they haven't. Minio inside of the smoke finds a full 10-second stick to hold on to the flawless CT side for 9. And oh, BA, they are going to be kicking themselves there. They thought they got it done.
Yeah, I mean, from our point of view, you think it's almost got to be a certainty as well. You're like, okay, he had his 1 chance when he spammed in towards short. Somehow none of those bullets hit. So he goes for the Hail Mary 10-second defuse. And you're like, surely he has the angle here. He's spamming it perfectly. Should be able to take him off it, but no. Even after the reload, he just kind of gives up on it. Presumed that at that point he must have been backing away to save his weapon, and that was not the case, of course. So 9 steal away another round. They head up 6-0, and in the one round where B8 looked like they had some hope, unfortunately, it slips out of their fingers in the last couple of seconds. And it didn't go as planned.
If you're looking for positives, they are starting to look warm here. Starting to look a little bit better, finding some good entry kills across the board. But again, they are getting picked in these opening moments. Very proactive from 9 as Key swings wide. Minio could be in trouble here. Owner's been very good on these entries. consistently finding ways to crack open the site, and for now he's a little bit isolated. He swings right into the awaiting crosshair. Free kill, an equalizer, and you can see the CT side again desperately proactive with it, but it leaves them in a little bit of a vulnerable spot here. Kylar and Key doing what they can. They've bought the 2-on-2 and a huge amount of damage onto Kalash, but they've lost visibility of it. And this is where it starts to get a little sketchy for the CT side. They have no idea what's going on anymore. They can't afford to just stay passive. They've got to play for info. Key's worked his way already in towards the CT spawn and will start to try and clear his way out onto this A site, get some kind of an idea if that's where the hit's headed, and it leaves Hades a very isolated figure. Up on short, he's holding for the A site cross. I'm not sure if they'll see him first as they start to work up connector here. This headshot angle's beautiful. Owner catches a gorgeous timing. It leaves Key 22 HP, 1v2. They'll head up short and completely isolate him from this fight. He's got no idea till that smoke goes down, if he even hears it. 8 seconds left. They will have time to get this bomb down inside of the B site, and I think that might just be the round here. I'm not sure Key has necessarily got the health to even give this one a go.
No, I don't think he wants to. Especially with an AK in his possession, he can't buy. Only really Kylar and Hades can. Even with this saved weapon, you're still going to have 1 or 2 weaker weapons most likely in towards this force buy, which they will go for. Goofy will be on a double eco, so it's likely that they'll just pull out whatever they can. But a fantastic recovery and good work from Owner yet again. We've said he stood out. He was fantastic with the entries and is willing to take some risks, as you can see, creeping out A and such. So he looks definitely to be one of the players we'll have to keep our eyes on. It's 1 round on the board for B8. They do need to ensure that they can chain a couple together now. 1 more, they break the economy of 9. They likely head up towards 3. Even coming back onto the gun round then from 9, it probably won't be perfect, and they'll have a chance at that point to establish a real T side. And to do so pretty early on, considering how it was looking as well. Decent time for a pause. Is it a tactical? That's the question. I think we might be on a technical.
Looks techie. I'll go have a look. No, it might actually be a tactical from 9 here. Might be. I can't tell you for sure. Good time for it, though. As you said, it's a real breaking point for 9. If this one goes south, they're back on the eco, and B8 really get the door open for them, right?
I was spoiled during the Katowice qualifier because it would specify whether it was a tactical or a technical. So, well, it would specify, it would show if it was a tactical, if it was a technical, it just pop up match paused. So that's what confused me for a moment. You get me?
Yeah, I get you. We're slumming it down here.
And
it
also,
works.
it's the mindset, you know, you've got to expect when a pause comes in an online CS game that something's gone wrong.
Have to see if it continues to go wrong here for 9 or if they can recover the situation. Heavy mid presence called by B8 very swiftly into it. Huge amount of utility goes down, and Key again just not quite able to rein in that opening fight. Goofy though, through the smoke finds one and dinks up the second. Again, a huge amount of damage done in these opening seconds. Question is, can 9 continue to convert on it? Wrinkle caught on the ladder cross. No, oh, he's almost expecting the close angle, and all of that damage done in mid lets him get away with it. The double take connects. And at this point, 2-on-4, Hades beautifully positioned. Should at the very least be a 1-for-1 on this angle. At that point, the rotation should come through relatively cleanly. Here we go. Hades missed shot. And that is going to be punished. The B site open for the taking as Amster drops on down. Bomb is on Kalash's back, though, on that AWP. So he's going to have to delay this cross a little while longer. Wants the pick into short, but it's cost him his teammate's life. Everyone low, but up against the AWP, that's a very little concern. And as Kalash misses his shot, both AWPers being punished for missed opportunities, but it's 9 again coming out on top, a 7th on the board. The buy will keep on coming for B8. But they need start needing to get rounds on the board sooner rather than later, right? We're getting to that point where the economy is less and less of an issue, and that round count slowly spiraling out of control really is.
Yeah, I mean, the speed that Amster peaked Hades at there in Furnace, it looked incredibly quick. You could see the panic, and he over-flicked a little bit then as well, but thankfully his teammates were able to handle it well. 7-1. 9 managed to fire back. It's B8 who can still scrape together a buy, but if they lose this one, their economy won't quite be there. So now or never if they want to start establishing a T side. Flash over mid. I don't think they're going to actively look to fight this too aggressively, though. Yeah, the player on short's still pretty far back as well. Making it costly, trying to do a bit of nade damage and ensuring that B8 themselves use what little utility they likely have to try and fight back.
Have managed to gain that mid control though, the T side, and now they're working short and connector. Amster looking to press the issue. 9, you can see them getting just a little bit fidgety here, and it's going to mean they lose a player early. Wrinkle in towards the ladder, able to deal with Goofy. That B site now feels incredibly vulnerable. The rotate position's almost completely locked out. It really becomes a two-man show here with Kylar and Hades to try and lock it down. This is a tough angle for Kylar though, and Wrinkle is so ready for it. Hades doing what he can, has got one, but he doesn't know there's players past his crosshair already. He's got to be so cautious here as the bomb works its way out onto site. Spots out a second, but can't quite connect his shot as the bomb goes down, and Hades is trying to brawl this one out, but it's far too aggressive, caught for free. And at this point for Key and Minio should just be about the exits. Owner may well strip them of one of the rifles early, won't quite find his mark, and as Key works his way back through the apps, he's just thinking about taking a couple more away from this T side, making it that little bit more expensive right at the death, maybe keeping a couple of them inside of the site, but it's not to be. Second round on the board for B8, and it's an economic heartbreaker for 9.
Yeah, even more so than the previous time where they could at least fund a few rifles behind the saved AK. This time, while they probably will be looking at the force buy again anyway because of a double eco, they're going to have pistols. Really any utility behind it. Yeah, it's not great at all. Goofy and Kylar have bare minimum money. Minio can drop one rifle if he wants to sacrifice nades, which I think might be the play here just for the extra bit of firepower. As you said though, Hades just a bit too aggressive. They're out on B. It maybe could have been worthwhile saving that extra weaponry forward if possible. Just to keep the pressure on BE, to not allow them to easily chain together the couple of rounds that they're looking for, because again they have that opportunity here where if they take this third round now for themselves, a fort is coming free off the back of it, and at that point then going forward, one more gun round could nearly put them neck and neck with 9. So it's an opportunity, a path to recovery here that looks pretty clear.
Certainly see the pathing. Hades trying to do what he can on that rifle. But an early 1-for-1 is far less than ideal. And, well, with the smokes up, Minio's the only other player near that rifle, so not really going to be recoverable at all. 5-7 and a deagle. The lone bastions inside of this B site to try and do what they can. Kylar spotted early, takes a huge amount of damage. Will start screaming for the rotates. Minio's done a good tick as well, but Wrinkle again has worked his way out. Goofy up on Ninja, somehow turns for the second, and on 5 HP, he's managed to find the bomb deep inside of the beast bomb site. First player guilty of not checking the angle, second guilty of not reining in the spray. And with Owner down on 12 HP, suddenly this looks very, very winnable for the CT side. Amster's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Minio seemingly looking the wrong way, has no idea where he's got to, so the first kill will come relatively cheap. However, the trade is instant, and Key, whilst he will be found in response, there's now 2 rifles on the ground, there's now 25 seconds on the clock, the bomb is in no man's land. All the CTs need to do is establish themselves a crossfire, and that's exactly what they're looking for here. The occasional shoulder peek to play for info, nothing more than that, and Goofy, well, he continues his stellar round 10, a triple, 2 of them off the pistol. 9 get an absolute steal of a round.
Yeah, I mean, he said it was B8's chance, but once again, they let us slip away. I'm still just kind of confused by the fact that we didn't see them go for that ancient pick. It felt like it could have been an almost certain map win for them.
That's still on your mind, is it?
It is, yes, it's more on my mind
still
when we see how poorly Mirage is going. I mean, they've got something here. They're just, we're only getting brief moments. Owners had his points where he's come alive. Captain Kurtke as well. Wrinkles had a few good entries and such, but they don't seem, their ideas don't seem to be coming together too well. Even when they get the map control and when they set themselves up for these executes and such, it feels like there's some hesitancy most of the time in the pushes. And the fact that now they're left on just Deagles and a Galil doesn't really help. It's only a half buy, they haven't fully invested in fairness, so the hope is do something here, maybe have a chance at winning the round, but the focus is on trying to recover towards likely a 9-6 scoreline, which is going to be tough, but I mean, who knows?
Decent amount of firepower into this one. A hero rifle, as you said, always capable of finding something. This time, though, stripped out early. At the very least, recoverable and a good amount of damage found onto Key, so potentially a conversion available there. He's playing in a very sketchy position. In and around connector is always tough. Leaves you vulnerable. So many opportunities to spam through those walls and just tickle away the last few remaining points of health on these damaged players. It's Goofy just spotting out another one. I mean, this one from B8, they look like they want to try and split out in towards this A site, but again, it's a nice read from the CT side of 9. They've worked the short player up into ladder, and now with Minio spotting out the con play, 3 players very well established inside of this A site, ready and willing. So they'll actually start to double back, try and get a flash out, try and give Owner some kind of an angle to work with. Wrinkle can't quite punish Goofy's over-aggression, and at this point, just stripping back the remaining pistols. Beautifully clean from 9. 9 on the board for them. A flawless round, all 5 rifles kept up, exactly what the doctor ordered, and a huge opportunity to continue accelerating on their opponent's map pick.
Towards 9, I mean, at the very least, they've established a solid enough CT side here that they won't really be disappointed. I mean, obviously, losing the remaining 4 rounds wouldn't be where you want to go, but even if they just managed to take 1 more, they'd be in a really, really good position. So, pretty well established. B8, on the other hand, far from it. They need to start winning out now. They have the AKs, as we said, coming into this round. They hoped for damage in the previous. It didn't happen. They just need to go all in here and now. And what the hell? Owner just charges up connector, bypasses Key. And I think it should be known, indeed, he actually calls in Goofy to help him out. He knew he couldn't emerge from that smoke once again until he had some assistance. As the A-push comes in now in the meantime, they have Minio pinned in at triple. He's somehow staying alive for a few seconds. I thought he was about to die for sure, got spammed down, now mollied, I believe, but he's still on that bomb site, just making sure they can't push forward and then allowing, as you can see, his teammates to rotate in. And again, it is just a blender. There was the flank from Goofy that would have been there to put an end to it as well. 10-2, double digits already for 9. B8 are just not having a good time here on Mirage. Again, a reminder, this is their map chase. Vertigo,
I mean, Minio, just by staying alive there, has won that round almost single-handedly, right? As soon as he goes down, they know there's no one else inside of the A site. They charge in, they take after plants, and suddenly it gets dangerous. But with him still alive and kicking, you've got to be so conscious of the site player. And you could see it, they're clearing angles, but then they're exposed to the site player. He swings out for 1. The timings, again, are good for 9. He buys time for that backstab to come into position. Really solid stuff. And another half buy to contend with. Handful of Deagles, tech, scout in the hands of Owner to try and find some impact. But 11 likely to come through for 9, and they really have just been accelerating. The CT side, couple of minor speed bumps in the road, but nothing to be concerned with as Hades spots out the initial play. Goofy gets a freebie over towards the B apartments as well. And Key, well, he's well placed. He's ready for this. Good damage done onto Amster. Now he knows there's a rat and he starts to molly them out. Kylar wants to join in on the fun, gets himself a kill, and the 2 remaining players, well, they are going to be peeked out by a very enthusiastic Key, who now knows exactly where to look. Captain Gurka does very well to even get the 1, but it's a level on the board, 4 left alive. The economy is going to go pretty much till the death of this first half now for 9, no matter what happens in these remaining 2 rounds. And for B8, well, they desperately need both of them to make something of this first half.
Yeah, this is their last opportunity, really. Obviously, with the loss bonus, they'll still be able to scrape together their rifles and such in the next, but 4 is kind of a bare minimum. These final 2 need to be taken, otherwise they're going to be down dramatically here going into the second half of Mirage with a very difficult map ahead of them in Vertigo. How strong it is for 9. Okay, aggression in true Palace here, rather, has worked out for 9 pretty well. It's a 1-for-1 trade with a kill elsewhere, I believe, been found. No, sorry, it was in Palace itself that initial frag also came in. And I mean,
I feel like they'll take it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a terrible position. The only thing is they don't know exactly what's being established in terms of A control. As we can see, there's also a player push deep ramp, so they're kind of forced towards one side of the map. I think mid control might be the response, perhaps, to at least give the option to maybe split towards connector or up short. Just keep the CTs on their toes. But now they're actually going to go back and try and take this fight. Okay.
Want a retake. I mean, it's brave. They're expecting the Palace player. Problem is, there is actually someone inside of the ramp, and Minio, well, he gets a gift. As they're starting to work out how they want to clear Palace, they swing waywardly into the ramp. Minio gets a freebie. Smoke goes down. Molotov before it just buys more and more time for 9. B8, at the very least, will try and group this one up. They've got a little bit of utility here. Couple of smokes, couple of flashbangs. They've got the execute if they want it. Instead, looks like it's just the contact play out of that ramp. Kylar on the jump spot, gets the information. Minio's position, though, surely not going to be expected as these flashbangs start to come out. Trying to enable that rifle to swing on whatever timing he feels like. He'll just bide it. 15 seconds on the clock. He'll wait. He knows Hades has got his cross. Gets one. That smoke out in no man's land. Falls very awkwardly. And Minio, despite a rough old spray, just does his best to stay alive. And again, that's all he needs to do. 12 on the board for 9. The clock, the ultimate enemy of B8. As again, just a couple of well-timed plays from 9. Pretty much single-handedly win them the round, right? That initial Palace aggression into the ramp push. And from there, B8 just ran out of options.
Yeah, they're just looking outmatched in pretty much every regard right now, unfortunately. High quality production today with the highlights.
Spoiled for choice.
Shout out to producer. Oh, he making the short jump. Doesn't have an op actually, it's just doing it with the rifle, and a run boost is about to come in, so thankfully he's in this position, otherwise Hades might have been in trouble. But not actually going for the boost, never mind, it was just a peek towards connector. And it actually just left him very exposed for Key, who had an entire shoulder to see. Took quite a bit of damage, sure, but it's an initial kill and some damage on towards Captain Kurtka. Again, just put V8 on the back foot, as they have always been throughout this map.
Yeah.
Hades, his aim is incredibly flicky right now, but it's working for him somehow. It's like me after I drink too many energy drinks. I've done that a lot once, and I was shaking
If
like a
it
madman.
lands...
They were giving out free monster, what was I meant to do?
If it lands, you do not care.
You gotta get it the knife, rub it in.
I mean, 12-2. He's going to go for it, of course he is. Give it a crack, and there it is. 13-2. Dominance from 9 as we head into the halftime break. Lovely stuff. Well, B8 have not left themselves any breathing room here, to say the very least. 13-2 down as they head over to the CT side, and a pistol that pretty much has to be converted if they're going to have any chance of taking their map pick. The call is aggression in mid to start things off, and for now at least it will be unmet by the T side. There's a couple of players working their way through the underpass, but this is going to introduce a lot of timings all over the shop den. A couple of very sketchy ones. Oh, the underpass peak from Kylar's tough.
Wrinkle, oh, somehow gets flicked on by Goofy. Okay, I'm not quite sure how 9 have managed to make that work. It looked like BA had the upper hand in the mid exchange. Instead, now they've lost the mid control. They've lost A pretty much, but they have a flank coming in. The question is, do 9 have any idea? If they shut down this flank, they might even try and bring it over through Connector, but instead the timing is horrible for Hades. Left Minio exposed on the bomb plant. It's Owner again, who is the absolute hero for B8 to give them hope in this round. And suddenly Goofy's left all alone. He was dinked up earlier on as well, so he's on 18 health against 2. Without the bomb in his control, this should be a pistol round for B8 to give them a lifeline, an opportunity to start growing back into this game, if not to win out Mirage, to at least warm up before a very difficult Vertigo ahead of them.
Might get a timing for at least one here. It's going to be out of Palace. Captain Kirka spots him out though, and on 2 HP now, Goofy in a world of pain. Amster will find the conversion. A little bit of fortune for B8. The flank works out to perfection. They get their third, and as you said, at the very least, a little confidence builder. This is such a nice double up from Owner, making absolutely sure. Denies the bomb plant as well, which always makes these second round buys that little bit uglier, as you see. Rather than a handful of Galils and a couple of Mac 10s, it's a couple of Mac 10s with pistols behind.
Yeah, and I mean, if you get a few kills, you'd have some AKs mixed in there as well, so it can be very scary when you give that bomb plant away. So just about clinching the stoppage there in time. And also, as I had said, I think it was a bit awkward for Hades, who had been watching the ramp just turn at that moment to check maybe if there was anyone pushing CT, I believe. And nade damage, key through under actually finds Wrinkle getting aggressive. I had not noticed that. Owner also pushed up towards the top of mid, is at least good for one trade, and they pretty much have trapped them over towards the B side of the map already at this point. They've 2 in on B, 1 pushed towards top mid. Obviously can't see if they do start to bring it around through the T-spawn, so they have to leave a player around there for now, but they have a kind of an early notification system here, especially if 9 try to go for any mid control.
9 burnt all of their util there as well. I think they wanted to commit to it, and then were almost called back by the fact they got that early kill in the underpass. But with the aggression of Owner top mid, the trade comes through, and now without any util to work with, that rifle is going to have an absolute field day. 2 quick kills, and this round has been gutted. From a 4-on-4 to just Kylar and Key remaining. A FAMAS is not the weapon to have. Kalash takes full advantage, gets both those kills done. Only the 1 kill found by the force buy of 9, and that is much, much better from B8.
Yeah, I like the idea. I mean, it's not like they had no ideas on the T side either. They clearly knew how to play it out. They were good at getting the map control and everything. They were set up for trades most of the time as well. They were just outmatched. That's what it was. Everyone on 9 was playing pretty fantastic. And on the other hand, it looks like BA at the moment individually were a bit flat. But hopefully at this point they're beginning to warm up. It's Owner again, though, who does the brunt of the heavy lifting in that previous round. So I'm waiting to see how it goes as the actual guns come out for 9. For now, though, they have a chance against some Glocks maybe to add up the stats that aren't looking quite as strong. Get a little bit of confidence flowing through the veins of the players who haven't been showing themselves quite as much. Nice shot by Captain Kurtka. He's looked pretty solid in fairness. Owner's going to join in with a little bit more as well, and the dynamic duo continues.
Lovely little confidence builder this, and
what's a higher rank, Owner or
Mirage
Captain?
ends up going against. Oh, dude, shut up.
I'm saying who outranks who here?
I mean, based on damage alone, I think Owner wins it. This one's done. 3 players dead in the ramp, 1 dead under mid. It's one of those rounds.
Bomb? Went back for it.
It's a bit brave, isn't it? To hope that you can turn that bomb into something in this situation. Should just be job done here. Rifles start swinging in, and indeed it is. 13-5. A little bit of confidence for B8, but still a long, long way home. And that's going to be the concern now. 13-5. The rifles start to come out again for 9. They've got 1, maybe 2 more rifle buys before this starts to get a little fidgety, and they really do start to get concerned. they can shut this one down early, the confidence going into Vertigo should be the perfect springboard to get it done in a clean 2-0, which is what 9 will be aiming for. Definitely the favourites coming into this one as Hades wants the pick on the cross. Nobody going to go that way, unfortunately for him, as instead Owner, again, determined to take that fight into top mid. Charging up, Hamster in support, able to kill off Minio as he looks to try and swing on the initial angle. Goofy does well to at least trade it down. And actually goes out mid off the back of it. Very brave to swing. Gets away with it. Nobody really watching. So mid control re-established. It's a nice win for the T-side as now they can start thinking about maybe lurking out of that ramp, which is exactly what Key's looking to do. Spotted by the jump peak. Rotations will start to be called in, but this isn't necessarily the hit just yet for 9. Bomb still back in spawn, still probing mid and the B bomb site simultaneously. They are not committed to this just yet.
No, and they actually have a player creeping up into the B apartments right now who nearly got Hamster. He's already on incredibly low health. They've pushed out towards jungle on the A bomb site here as well, just really putting the pressure on everywhere they can. Wrinkle at least good for that trade without even taking any damage. So 3-on-3 that could still kind of go either way here, considering what BA had coming into the round especially.
This could get very sketchy, that connector player. Wrinkle, if he turns well, if he can clear out Goofy, this would be good, but instead he's caught trying to make sure he's not flanked out of mid. And now with Kalash smoked off, with Amster dinked up and dealt with, it goes from bad to worse. It's a FAMAS against the world. There's rifles on the floor, but he doesn't want to give the sound cue away of picking one of those up. Instead, he's going to try and time it, try and fade this smoke. Gets the first. Position now known. He can switch to the better rifle, and he's got a Molotov as well. Potentially lock out this ramp peak, and then it gets very dangerous for 9. They've not got the smoke to extinguish, but the time is their friend. The bomb already halfway ticked. Kalash, no information about where this T-side are. There goes the Molotov. Bomb tapped. Hades baited into the open, but he lands his shot at the first attempt. 9, as soon as the rifles come out, return to their winning ways on Mirage. And this is starting to get very last chance saloon for B8.
I'm not going to lie, I was believing in Kalash there, as you were saying, once we knew he had that molly in play. Unfortunately, it was a bit too much to handle. It was a strange push, though. 9 managed to get all the way over towards jungle and towards stairs, take that control, and they still had a player holding back in ramp. They had no idea if they had the bomb site itself. And that almost could have cost them because it was given so much time for BA to react and rotate, but thankfully that one little lurk they had in the apartments earlier had kept the player in position for a long time over towards B. This round, though, was a must-win for BA. They've spent everything to just invest back into this. If they lose it, they have very little to try and fight for in overtime. They'd be looking likely at a 16-5 defeat here. So 9, they know what's on at stake as well. They can pretty much put the final nail in the coffin. They've slowed things down a little bit here. They've focused over towards that mid-control, I think, expecting some aggression. BA playing things pretty standard, though. They don't want to take any risks, I think, at the moment.
Almost forced to play that way as well without the utility, right? They need the nades to back it up if you're going to play proactively into mid this time. Struggling to buy what they want, so forced to play it a little more calmly. Leaves the pressure on as Owner does catch the initial con play. Minio, good for the trade onto jungle. Looking to open things up in towards this A site as Goofy again lurking it out in mid, spotting out the bodies. He's got bomb on his back though, and he's going to be found. Hamster gets his man, and Minio, knowing that the situation is risky, has to dive back in, does very well to trade it. Jungle now the next issue, and they know it on B8. They know that bomb has got to make the transition back towards this A site, so they're going to stack it with everything they've got, try and desperately fight this bomb cross. But as Minio deals with one, it is all on Wrinkle. Picks his first man out of the air, 25 seconds. One flashbang to get them back into this angle, and it's beautifully used by Key. Dropped right into the crosshairs of Wrinkle to enable that bomb to go down. As Key now on the high ground will get picked off one-on-one. Kylar tucked in. Wants to play this cross. Knows Wrinkle's got a hell of a shot to land if he wants to have a chance at this one, but he tucks himself in. Plays the time, plays the numbers game. Wrinkle is watching for this swing. He's watching for this timing. It's almost given to him, but Kylar through the box will convert. 15 on the board. The economy in tatters for the CT side, and this one feels like it might be ending very, very soon.
Yeah, it is looking that way, as I had mentioned. Going into that previous round, it was really their last chance. They have slightly over 2,000 on everyone here, I believe, so there'll be a scout and some deagles again. We've seen some similar buys in the past where were able to do some damage back on that T side, I believe it was, such as the round where they went for the triple pit around, peak around mid, but they got shut down. This time a few more nades at least, and they're on the CT side, but yeah, there's not a lot of hope, I wouldn't say, in it. Run boost doesn't work. Thankfully, they'd already put down smoke, so it doesn't really make a difference. I think they were just doing that for the fun of it now.
Just getting the practice in.
Yeah, they need it, clearly.
It's good. Yeah, always good to get the reps in, especially when you're fluffing them up. At this point, though, as you said, I mean, this is not the buy you want to be protecting your map pick with. 15-5 down, 9. Just looking to put the afterburners on here and make sure it's as smooth as possible. First pick is already found. Scrambled rotations coming in from the CT side as well. Kalash and Amster desperate to try and get as much firepower concentrated towards one position as possible just to give themselves the best possible chance of success. But Minio has slipped the net as well. He's worked his way into the ladder room. Captain Kirka's timing not there for him. Kalash, well, he breaks the vent, but he's traded at the very least by Captain Kirka. At this point, though, they're losing men far too quickly. The trades need to be so more efficient. Amster tries to play the edge of the smoke. Goofy's Mac 10 is good for the charge, and Captain Kirka, you know where he is on that recovered AK-47. He knows he's being flanked out as well. He's forced to play ahead of it. Does manage to get one, but it's not going to be enough. 16-5 as the backstab comes in, and for 9, they demolish B8 on their map pick and Mirage, make them regret ever going in that direction.
Yeah, I still think Ancient was the way to go, but clearly that wasn't the choice of B8. They probably, yeah, I think as you were saying, they kind of talked themselves out of it, perhaps thinking surely they've put some time into it to try and prepare how bad it was. They wouldn't expect us maybe to go with this Mirage pick, but it's Mirage. Everyone can play it. Clearly 9 can, and a 16-5 scoreline now leaves B8 in a whole lot of trouble because they're moving on towards Vertigo, which is a ridiculously good map for 9. They've got 2 losses in there out of all of their games. One of the losses is against Astralis in a double overtime, so yeah, I mean, even that game is impressive despite being a loss. Then they have wins over the likes of Apex, Into the Breach, Sprout, Cloud9, Falcons, Imperial, NIP, Mouse, Vitality, Fnatic, everyone you can think of, really. So yeah, B8 are in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, very competent, very, very competent Vertigo team, R9. B8 firmly on the ropes, looking to keep their hopes of this playoff run alive here. Of course, this is an elimination game as well, so one of these teams will be heading home. But to decide how that second map goes, we have got to throw it to a break, guys. So bear with us for a few more minutes, and when we're back, we'll have Vertigo.
wake up, don't speak for a couple of weeks. I'll be in his place till he calls and says he's sorry. This situation's on repeat, just like a scratch on a CD. It just gets deeper when you hit rewind. How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and he's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, hurt you holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left hearing you say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than your rescue? I'm feeling kinda used, yeah, like a drug that you take when you're sick of crying all your tears away. Is that all I am? All I want is for you to be happy. You know this ain't healthy. Do I make you happy? How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and he's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, what you holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left hearing you say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than your rescue? I'm doing everything he doesn't do, but I'm still not enough. Even your parents know I'm good for you, but I'm still not enough. You wanna be done with him, you're stuck with him, 'cause you don't have the guts. And after all I've done, I'm still not enough. Still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left hearing you say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than your rescue?
Well, Mirage fell worryingly flat for B8, and now they head to the home ground of 9 in Vertigo. The pressure of the world on their back. Elimination from ESL Challenger League Season 45 is on the cards. They cannot turn their fortunes around. Trying to do so on 1 of 9. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, if we thought Mirage was difficult, I think Vertigo can only be tougher here for B8, as 9 are one of the best teams out there, really, on this map, judging by the teams that they're able to put down time and time again, and they've found their way straight on towards A with this execute. There's a ton of nades, though, so a little bit of damage at least being done. Slight delay on that bomb plant, and a couple of players heavily tagged up here for the retake, but it's going to be a 5-on-5 either way. And smoke and a flash, a kit here for that CT side to work with. They're going to need to get a move on.
Ye olde Vertigo this. 5v5 after plant. Kylar's been boosted up on a very odd angle here. They're looking for it, though, and Kalash, very aware of the possibility, has found a gift, and now they're going to charge on in 2-3 in quick succession. They've demolished this pistol round before it's even come to pass. Key caught with his teammate killed by the rotation. Kalash with a monstrous triple kill to open things up, and that is one hell of a way to put down a statement round on Vertigo.
Yeah, I mean, coming to life, a smooth retake as well. 9 did get the bomb plant, though, so kind of the riskiness of the second round force buy that we mentioned back on Mirage, which wasn't able to happen. This time around, it will happen. You have a couple of Galils. They have, though, prioritized slightly more towards the utility, and I think that's understandable because they are a very strong Vertigo team, so you'd imagine they have some great utility, some great executes rather in the back pocket. Got slightly thrown off by that ridiculous kill there from Hades. We didn't get to see it from his perspective, but we did see Captain Kurtka's body going into a bit of a backflip, and yeah, that's not the start I don't think B8 were hoping for here in this round. The Galil and the Mac 10 here focused around on mid as well. If they can even get a 1-for-1 trade on this player that's playing a pretty wide angle, then that would be trouble for B8. So yeah, it's a good thing he backed off just as the molly goes down as well. Problem is he's forced to give up mid, and they're just going straight into this B-split. Key with the initial kill, spins around to help Goofy out on the second. And Wrinkle and Amster, surely at this point, they're forced towards a save. They have two M4s that are not going to have any chance in a 2-on-5 retake, but could be very useful in this next round.
That's going to be the scariness of 9 on Vertigo. A little bit of magic from Hades to open up, sure, but a very swiftly and very brutally executed play into that B site. Amster deals with Hades on the lurk, and Wrinkle does well to grab another. They're going to keep hunting these down. They know the financial situation is more important to the CTs than it is to them. Kylar and Minio. Minio deals with one. Amster will have to show his hand and runs out of ammo at the critical moment. Everything stripped away from B8 in round number 2. T-side aware that that CT economy, when you get the pistol and lose the conversion, is nightmare fuel. It does not stand up to questioning. And as we get through these highlights and get back to looking at that buy, it is going to be desperately ugly. I mean, you've got Deagles across the board, but look at what 9 are bringing to the party. 2 AKs, a saved M4A1. Hades and Key, the only players making sacrifices, and they're still on a Galil and a Mac 10, still perfectly serviceable weapons. Get past this, it's the eco to follow, and 9 straight back to their Mirage ways on here on Vertigo.
I mean, not a great force play here for B8, but they had some very skilled players, so I'm not going to count the Deagles out. At the very least, though, I need them to put in some damage in this round, take some of these rifles out of the hands of 9, and just keep the pressure on, because if 9 start to feel as comfortable as they did on Mirage, then this is going to be smooth sailing, I would imagine. There we go. Yeah, as I said, clearly they have capable players. Amster was actually struggling on Mirage, so for him to be coming alive here in the early stages of Vertigo could be a decent sign. Key, I think the timing's going to be awkward here if they start to push around as well. Never mind, he spins around, had Hades watching as well, and actually doesn't get to take any of the kills. Hades steals them all on the Galil. 3 smooth headshots.
I don't think they'll be too fussed about the kill steals. Key will now go hunting.
Would have been nice to get a little on the Mac 10, though. He invested heavily, he's only got 300 in the bank. He wanted to just be with him.
Goofy's the key here. He's going to hold for the rifle, and the timing is absolutely horrendous. So he'll get killed for free, and that's 2 AKs now. Both of the invested rifles ripped away. Got to imagine Key's going to go for a little bit of a hunt here, and you wouldn't blame 9 if they sent a bit more at it as well, but with that bomb already halfway ticked, I'm not entirely sure they're going to be able to find these rifles. Hades, this is a tough angle to fight into. I think he just saw the shoulder there. As Kalash looks to hide, buy himself a little more time, works back into the angles. Hades gets the better of him. Owner at this point, just going to keep hidden. Try and hold on to that AK-47. He can drop his deagle across to a teammate if only he can stay alive, but Key is having none of it. And again, sure, you lose a couple of AKs to the Deagles, but 9 make absolutely sure that B8 are forced to pay. Everything is stripped away from them. The full eco surely to follow. And that T-side's looking to get rolling very, very early on here.
It really did look like he could have taken any one of those kills. Like, if you didn't have the kill feed, you're just like, damn, he mowed down those 3 players. He does go straight onto the rifle either way, so it's not too much of a hindrance. They have a solid economy on the T side, and it's going to be B8 who just look on USPs for the moment, so it's only going to be the T side building that economy even further. A couple nice kills actually coming in from Captain Kurtka. An AK maybe to be recovered. The nade actually helps him get it a little bit quicker, if anything, so not bad. If they can even get one more kill here, then this round will be fantastic. I mean, potentially win it for sure, but the damage that's been done already, and Goofy down to 10 health now as well. Wrinkle with an AK as well in his possession. Unfortunately, the bomb's going to go down, of course, in the meantime, but one more kill right now makes this worthwhile. But no, Minio handles it. He'd crept all the way around A. Should have an upgrade to an AK, indeed he does. 9 take that 3-1 lead, but B8 have given themselves a chance to potentially come alive here off the back of this first gun round. There'll be a little bit of money left over for 9, sure, but it's not as good as it was looking like it was going to be.
Yeah, they've consistently found a couple of picks. It was something they really struggled to do on Mirage as well, so it's good to see it coming through.
Yeah, I think there was 3
Get the
players on
damage up.
0 kills until like the second gun round or something, right?
Yeah, it was really rough. Mirage was nightmare fuel. So just getting those opening kills, a couple of nice picks, a couple of nice deagle shots, right? Build the confidence. Through the smoke now, trying to take the fight early as Wrinkle, punished for it though. Captain Kirk can't really afford to commit off the back of that. Teammate goes down. Sure, it's a lot of damage done onto Key, but with the man advantage now there, you can see Nine just starting to pull the rotations around from this CT side. Mid control now almost entirely conceded. Kalash just trying to make sure there's no kind of funky business on this flank. Gives himself the headshot angle. Goofy doesn't spot it. Should be a free trade, and indeed he is. So 4 on 4. This is looking a little bit better now. Almost immediately, though, Hades looks to put that to the sword, and the trades start to come in all over the shop. They want to work this A ramp 9, and they've got a little bit of space to do so.
Yeah, and quite a bit of time as well. Still just under a minute on that clock, so really right now B8 aren't 100% sure of what's going to be going on. They are still taking the risk, though, to heavily rotate this over towards Ado, so they've made the right decision. There's not really any smokes or anything to go down. Nine will just straight up need to win these fights as the pushes come in, and unfortunately Owner is here waiting for them to assist Amster. They just shut it down. Kia was going to say on low health already, but he hits a quick headshot to give himself some hope. Both of these players are waiting on the bomb site. One up close, Kalash actually going to go down pretty quick indeed, but he doesn't expect Owner playing that headshot angle. It's 3-2. It is BA who finds some life here in their first gun round. They're not even recovered to be thrown over to Wrinkle, it looks like. There's
Needed
still economy. Pressure still on.
Good round to find. I mean, it goes down to the last man, sure, but an opportunity now. Showing a bit more life on their CT side. Rifles will come out for 9. There's no AWP for Hades, and if this one goes wrong, it's bad. Down to the eco. Much more promising position if 9 can break. B8 here, though. It just starts to flip right back on its head. It's going to be a question of this round, a crucial swing in the context of the early moments of this first half. Not an ideal buy for the CT side either by any means, but Captain Kirk making the most of it. Up close and personal. Minio dealt with. Rifle recovered. Utility dumped down as well to make sure the trade can't come through, and that's the most promising position B8 have found themselves in a while. A man advantage found early, not too much damage taken, and able to retreat to the relative safety of the site as well. This is a perfect start.
It alleviates some of that pressure of having a couple weaker weapons and maybe not having all the nades they'd want. Nine do again at least still have this control around ramp, but they don't know what's going on B. No one's gone aggressive. They don't know that though, so they are likely to come in with a commitment here pretty soon. Captain Kurtka playing ahead of these smokes, hoping to be able to put in a couple of kills as the push comes through, but it is going to be the split around through the alley as well, so this is actually going to be tough to deal with. Thankfully, Wrinkle is here to assist. Doesn't matter though, he seems to be the only player who finds even a glimpse of success for BA as the site is just overrun. Kalash held off by the smokes, can't do anything. There's no nades to put in damage. The bomb goes down, and although Kylar there was pretty damaged, he emerges from the smoke and just rips off Kalash's head. Owner, the second he shows himself, also takes a bullet to the skull. He's lucky enough though to survive and at least have the choice of saving an M4.
Again, slightly concerning moments there for BA. I mean, we saw it in the second round into that B site, right? Just collapsed in on it and demolished it on entry. 9 this time over towards A. Despite losing a man early, I think Captain Kirk is going to regret playing ahead of that smoke. He's punished for it early, then his teammate tries to jump up on the headshot boxes to trade that, but he's got a FAMAS and there's 3 players staring him down. At that point, it's just the AWP on site and he's just got too many angles to hold. So very quickly, the house of cards falls down around B8. And as we said, as much as that was an opportunity for the CT side to break 9, get them onto the eco, start to build your first half, the inverse is absolutely true. Owners saved M4A1 is going to be just about the only thing B8 can bring to this round, with a 2400 loss bonus as well. This is starting to go bad almost already. You know, you're starting to look at this and go, okay, this is 5-9. You've got to imagine we'll be able to fight out double digits. Realistically, that T side is looking lethal. And they're not letting up here either.
Yeah, both of these teams do lean a bit towards the T side, but 9 a little bit more so as the tower on B there collapses. Take out the foundations and the rest of it comes crumbling down. Nice little pile of bodies on top of the box there. Only Amster left, he has an M4 and well, he's not going to be able to utilize it to any effect, unfortunately. 5 players left standing there. It's a clean round from 9. There was the little bit of investment as well that didn't work out, but it was only the saved weapon even, so they didn't really put anything into it. So I suppose it's not too bad, but it's always going to hurt that you're allowing the T side to again establish an economy here. They have enough in the reserve for another buy. So again, it falls to B8 needing 2 or 3 gun rounds in a row to really crack their way through.
Yeah, that's the concern, isn't it? If you could have gone again, as we've sort of seen from B8 a couple of times, take 2 rifles away, take 3 rifles away, make it a little bit painful still, even if you're struggling on the utility, struggling on the firepower. Give the T something to think about, keep their economy steady. Instead, a flawless round alleviates almost all of the financial pressure from this T side early. Captain Kirker desperate to get out of dodge, knowing he was tagged up super heavy by the early nades. To be fair, Key is not in a particularly healthy way either, playing up by the sandbags, flashed into the angle beautifully by Hades though, and now playing the headshot boxes to brilliant extent, gets 2 out of his life before the nade trades it down. And that's both the high HP players on A. Little do the T side know, they have pretty much gutted the A hold. They are actually going to look to double back and potentially take this over towards B, so could be making it a little difficult for themselves. We'll have to wait and see.
Potentially. I mean, 9, no matter what they do, if they just use their numbers, they should be fine, but they sent 2 of them up the stairs over towards B, and as you said, that could backfire as owner lines them up. The bomb as well, I don't know if he is aware fully that it's in his possession. It's below the stairs, so it is slightly out of view, but it doesn't matter. He's standing his ground, drops Goofy, who didn't expect him to go for any further aggression, and now Hades is left all alone. A very capable offer, sure, but it's a 1-on-3 he shouldn't have much hope in, and there we go. B8 again, welcome back to the scoreboard.
That's a huge misfire from 9.
Yeah.
Just completely misread the situation, right? They got 2 picks over towards A. They were in a 4-on-3. Should have been a simple matter, as you said, of using the numbers, converging, getting the job done instead. Allowing themselves to be lined up over towards B. That's then bombed down in no man's land. The lurking players nowhere near close enough to support. Reinvestment almost completely from 9. So another opportunity for B8. Break the bank here. You can make something of this CT side on Vertigo.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising, even though it's still a kind of struggled some initial few rounds here for B8. They're still looking better than they did on Mirage, which was their own choice. 9, as we said, are an incredibly strong Vertigo team, so I think if they can give them a run for their money even here, I would be impressed. Obviously, though, they want more. They want to make this a 3-map series. They want to bring it to Nuke, where B8 themselves do look quite comfortable.
Worth mentioning, perhaps, that both of these teams lean T-sided on Vertigo.
Yeah, 9 a little bit more so.
Yeah, so maybe, you know, starting to shut them down, starting to see some promising signs from B8. If they can get 6 or 7, gotta imagine they'd be relatively happy with that. And at least this time, they've not leaked out any early picks. Still 5-on-5 with 55 seconds left, and finally they find their opening. Kalash keen in towards middle, deals with Goofy. And the man advantage found. Again, B8 doing a good job of being proactive on the CT side, finding their openings, finding their marks. What's the counter from 9?
I mean, most of the times that they've come down into a position where they have that man disadvantage, they just converge on the ramp and go for the A execute.
Looking for it again.
Tends to have been the go-to plan, and as you said, that is indeed the case once again. A missed shot on the op for Wrinkle could cost them everything, as Key is just cleaning up on the bomb site. He is the one who can open that lock, apparently. Very obvious Pun had to go for it, as the nade actually at least denies the bomb plant for the moment, and there's not a lot of
10
time.
seconds.
10 seconds. If they can converge on this planter, they could put a stop to this. Key needed the plant, but he didn't go for it. Instead, he unfortunately leaves Hades in a position where the best he can hope for is an op save. He needed to just trust Hades there to hold him off.
I think he was caught a little off guard by how much time was left, right? I think he thought that he had time to swing wide, get a kill and go back, but just not enough time on the clock to be risking that kind of a play. Big HE coming in. 9 almost immediately called the timeout. That's a couple of rounds on the trot now where they've gone in with a man advantage and then just slowly let it slip away. So clearly a little concerned about that. The saved AWP as well. It's a little awkward that he actually manages to save it because it forces that T side almost to reinvest into this one when they don't want to, because Hades' economy becomes so disconnected that, yeah, they've got to give it a go. With the 2400 loss bonus and the save they would have had otherwise, they could have full bought into the next. Instead, it's a little bit scrambled. It's the AWP into Hades' hands. Kylar and Key get the rifles. Minio and Goofy relegated to tech, so expect something a little bit swifter out of them.
Yeah, 9 seem to be the ones who are willing to take a few more risks. They have more plans, more plays in the back pocket as well, as we said, with the amount of reps they have around Vertigo. So willing to put it in with a buy like this, where there is a lot of weaknesses. They'll be relying on Hades up to maybe open things up. And honestly, he's lucky to have his life right now. Oh, the spam from Captain Kurtka. I think we'll go with Kurtka from now on. It's a little bit shorter. I presume everyone knows he's a captain.
And advantage found. I mean, the techs have
This
managed to find a backstab, though. This is huge. Minio and Goofy are both looking to hunt this Orca. It's a leg out of wrinkle. Needs the rifle to support and does very well to do so. Goofy only a solitary kill. That flank looked like it could have been good for a lot more than that. Bomb is on Hades' back as well, which is not the player you want to give it to. That Orb's going to have to commit itself to the plant, commit itself to sight, and now they'll start to converge. The sound cues are heard. Hades knows he's got to try and get out of dodge as quickly as he can, get himself into some kind of an afterplant position. Teammate is strung out to dry, close up. Kylar, a lot to do, very little space to achieve it. Flashed off his angle, dealt with immediately. Hades thrust into a 1v4, does well to even get one on the flick up, but the trade is immediate. B8 level things out at 5 apiece, and they are starting to find their feet here. This CT side is starting to click, as it looks like the half-buy will have to be called by 9, and an opportunity again. These teams are both T-sided, remember. A lead on your CT half would be huge for B8.
Yeah, this is a fantastic recovery, and really they've just come to life out of nowhere. We said chaining rounds together had eluded them throughout this entire series so far, but it's happened now, and I think it's because some mistakes have begun to creep in for 9. Silly little mistakes that we didn't see on Mirage, and I think that are coming true because of a perhaps overconfidence towards the start of this map. Again, they're left with pistols and Kevlar. Decent utility at the very least. They have a little bit there to try something with. But this should be B8's round, and if they can take it without too much trouble, without losing too many players, as you said, they're setting themselves up for a very good CT side, as Owner is the one here to try and stop them from inching their way forward onto B. He has been fantastic so far for B8 throughout the series, but he's only able to get the one. Delayed at least enough for Kalash to get in position, but the trades are continuous for 9. They've got control of this bomb site. They've got some rifles to work with. And I think they've got
Bomb's
B8
not
on the
committed.
back foot now. Oh yeah, they don't quite have it ready.
They're not sure about this. They want more kills before they commit to the bomb. Goofy's going to go over the top and grab another. Surely Minio now works his way up. 3 on
Is he
2.
disconnected, maybe?
I think he might have a tech issue here.
Yeah.
He's stuck. I mean, you
Not
have
an
to
issue,
imagine
he's
he's
gone.
taken the site. That's huge. It brings it to a 2 on 2. I mean, you can see even B8 are starting to second guess this. They're starting to think that maybe the bomb has worked its way round towards A. And if they can't get Minio back, they're going to have to take these fights. It's going to have to be a straight-up brawl. Amster gets 1. Hades is forced to team kill Minio. Oh, no. Forced to take that kill. That just dismantles the round. B8 have their 6th, and they are very fortunate to do so. That is brutal for 9. That should have been the steal. That should have been the perfect opportunity to get back into this one. And instead, a little bit of tech issues. Minio DCs, and from there, the whole round just falls apart around them. Tech pause is called, as hopefully we'll be getting Minio back in shortly.
Yeah, very rough time for him to drop out right there. Honestly, I'm surprised one of them didn't just go back and shoot him in the head. Goofy was continuing to push and get kills. Perhaps the other player could have went back. Forgetting
It's
who it
one of
was
those
now,
ones
but
where
it was him.
I wonder if Minio's internet dropped. Because I feel like if he crashes, he calls it to his teammates, right? They kill him early, and they get that bomb up. I wonder if because of the confusion, Minio's dropped out entirely.
Yeah. There's only...
And they're like screaming, right? They're going, Minio, Minio, bring the bomb! We've got the site! And he's just sat there, you know, oblivious to it all.
Yeah, there's only so many curvas you can throw in his direction before you realise he's not there, though, so...
Well, unfortunately, this one does seem like a bit of an extended tech pause, so we are going to throw it to a break while we get it fixed. Hopefully we'll be back soon.
There's fire in the atmosphere. Move in synergy, this electricity, the power of the pioneers, tearing through history. This is our destiny. We are the power. We are the change. We are the pioneers of paradise of fame. We push you louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers. We are the pioneers. We are the power. We are the change. We are the pioneers of paradise of fame. We push you louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers. We are the pioneers. We are the power. We are the change. We are the pioneers of paradise of fame. We push you louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers. We are the pioneers.
Well, we are back into the action. 9 perhaps disappointed not to win the previous half by, given the tech issues happened in the middle of it. But they will get their rifles out again. No AWP once more for Hades. AKs across the board. B8 looking to put up a real defense on their CT side. They have the lead and they won't be giving it up easy.
No, not at all. I mean, if they can come out with 8 or 9 rounds on the CT side, then I'd say they're in the driver's seat and definitely have a chance of stealing this away and again putting themselves into the series, because Nuke as a map looks statistically strong for both of these teams. I think it would be a banger of a decider. Our hope that it was going to get that far after how Mirage turned out was quite low, so B8, they can prove us wrong, that would be fantastic. And obviously, since this is the lower bracket, it'd be great for them, keep them in the tournament. Here we go though, creeping up ramp. Looks like they want a bit of a quicker play based off the contact here. Keys are taking a bit of nade damage, but they do catch Amster, smoke in hand. A little bit of damage dealt out before he drops it, hoping now to just stay alive in behind that smoke and maybe do some damage as they push forward. They just swarmed the bomb site though, but they had forgotten about Kurtka, who was still in a position around on the alley there. I think he pushed in behind them, managed to get himself a kill, and is now just going to be a massive nuisance from the sandbags.
Perfect position to play in. So difficult to clear out. No Molotov for the T side either. They're conscious of so many different positions. Flank is a distinct possibility and starts to come through for owner. Hades, whilst he trades for one, takes a lot of damage in the process, and his position now known. He's got to try and speed things up. Gets caught in the backstab. Lovely stuff from B8, holding off against the pressure of 9's T side, and this one is starting to get really dangerous now for 9. They're going to call another pause here as they look at their economy and realize once again they're only going to be on the techs at best. They haven't got the finances behind them. Their T side is starting to buckle in a major way. B8 have gone from down bad to having at least a buy in the back pocket here, and that is a huge win. when again, you consider both of these teams are T-sided. Both of these teams have been looking to rack things up on their T side. Instead, it's B8 putting up a stellar defense on the CT side and potentially setting themselves up to take this to 3 maps.
Yeah, it's looking like a real possibility when it wasn't just a few rounds ago. It was 5-2 at one point for 9. You believe. My memory's terrible, which it is, but pretty sure I'm correct. Either way. Yeah, well, yeah, because they have the full loss bonus going now, so... Is the case. With that, they do at least have an AK and some Tech 9s here to work with, but they're back and forth between the full investment and the half investments. It's just allowing B8 to continue racking up the CT side, and right now we're on track for what is beginning to look like it might even be the 10-5. Pistol round was then to go the way of B8, things would be looking almost over for 9, so they cannot let that happen. Even one more on this T side too, I think, or at least in a decent position, considering they do play this map so much. I still think they'll probably have the stronger of the 2 CT sides.
Looking to group on the ramp this time. Again, just keeping it simple, nothing particularly technical about this. They are going to be faced though. Amster and Captain Kirk are well positioned to deal with it. Wrinkle available on the alleyway as they edge their way up here. Clearing the sandbag seems to be quite low on their priority list as the nades start to come out. They're heard. Hades and Minio, though, able to find a killer piece. And Keys Deagle once again contribute. And this is more like it from 9. The fast pace pops into the site seems to be what are getting them the overwhelming majority of their rounds here. So quick on entry and almost immediately you can see B8 want nothing to do with this. Already backing away, already thinking long term with the rifles for the save. That is what we expect from 9 on Vertigo. Lethal in their execution.
Yeah, but that's been missing for pretty much this entire map so far. Even the rounds they were getting earlier on, as we had said, we were seeing B8 putting in a lot of damage, and it was costly most rounds for 9. And that wasn't something that was really happening back on Mirage, so we were surprised. Then they came alive once they got the guns and just hadn't really looked back until this moment. Now I think they'll be a little worried, considering the economy is not fantastic. Gives 9 an opportunity here to potentially still head up towards 8 and retain at least a slight lead on their T side, which again is what both of these teams will be looking for.
Huge opportunity here, as you said. 2 rounds left in the half. Economy at absolute breaking point for B8. 9 get this one. They're almost guaranteed lead. Should be something they would desperately covet, given how, as you said, back and forth this T-side's been. Moments of brilliance. Things have gone wrong more often than not. With the pressure on, they're going to try a pop this time out towards B. Nice flashbang in. Kylar takes full advantage. Kalash, the next player to try and provide some resistance, but again, the utility stellar, the damage huge. He's going to try and swarm in early. Kylar's good for it though, and Amster already tagged up in the opening engagement, drops back. That HE should get him 1, and indeed it does, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Doesn't feel like it'll convince them to commit. 9 seemingly having just tightened things up a little bit here. That's 2 on the trot with a fast-paced play. The utility over the top has been good. I think just leaning on the fundamentals of their Vertigo, right? This is a map, as we've said, they play a hell of a lot. 22 times in the last 3 months. They win 91% of those engagements. It's a map they're confident on. It's a map they're well drilled on. And I think we're starting just to see them lean back on those fundamentals, right? The trades weren't quite going right. The lurk plays weren't quite going right. Fine, we've got executes into both sites in the back pocket, both fast-paced plays. That time, everyone was blind on the B site. Nobody could see a damn thing. Gets them up to 7 apiece. A 3-man save, though, does mean this last round is by no means a done deal.
No, not at all. I think they hit a point where they kind of realized they were maybe overcomplicating things a little bit, especially those early rounds where they were getting advantages, and then obviously the 4-on-3 I think they lost when they tried to go back towards B, lined up for owner and such. Clearly, as you said, where they get things done best is when they keep it fairly simple and just play out the basics, which they're very efficient at on this map. 7-7, we're tied back up again, back and forth. This is what we wanted to see. We wanted a competitive game. We just didn't really expect it to be Vertigo of the first 2 maps that we'd get it on. How has Owner gotten himself a knife? Sadly, he doesn't get to hang on to his life with it, and the advantage, I was going to say, sits with 9, but it's going to be traded back. Wrinkle, though, in a precarious position. Does escape thanks to the assistance from Amster.
I think he's gone down the mid ladder, you know.
Must have
That's
been
where
something
most of the
crazy like
crosses
that.
are. I think that must be the position it's come from. The problem is, in this 3-on-3, it's a heavy-handed A stack, and it has left the B player desperately vulnerable here. Kylar's going to catch a freebie as he's looking to rotate between timings. Bomb will go down. Wrinkle and Amster, their positions known out towards A. Will be watched on entry. Goofy up close and personal. The first hurdle. Nice Molotov goes in. Forces him wide, but he's having none of that nonsense. 1 to his name already. Takes Amster down to 8 HP. The trades will be good, and it will be 9 with a late recovery to take 8 as we head to the halftime.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
When will you see me more than you rescue? I'm doing everything he doesn't do, but I'm still not enough. Even your parents know I'm good for you, but I'm still not enough. You wanna be done with him, you're stuck with him, 'cause you don't have the guts. And after all I've done, I'm still not enough. Still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here and you say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you rescue?
A narrower lead than perhaps expected for 9 as they head to the CT side of their map pick of Vertigo. 8-7. B8 run them the distance and keep it very competitive headed into this second half pistol. Certainly feels like it's all to play for, Dean.
Definitely. I mean, I did not think we'd be at a point here at the halftime where we're unsure of who's going to come out on top of this game. So it is definitely a fight from B8 that's being put up, but it's going to be a struggle if this pistol doesn't go their way. And Goofy with these dual Berettas is making a havoc already over towards those B stairs. Quick kill, some damage. A second set of dual Berettas in the hands of Key, and on mid is going to help him just shut things down with the assistance from Minio. And B8 has just walked into a blender. They haven't even gotten a kill. They've barely dealt any damage, and well, they're just the final player there is swarmed as well. It's a bit of confidence being built back up for 9, which was severely lacking throughout that T side, I've got to say. At least until the final few rounds.
Yeah, a bit of a tough pill to swallow, that one. DT side just seemed to have a read on exactly what was coming before it even came through. Goofy spotting out 2, spotting out Bomb as well as he gets the initial kill down that ramp. Gives him a lot of room to work with. Pistol on their back. No bomb plant for B8 means this one is going to be the Glock show. No investment at all across that T side, which makes this round spectacularly dull to watch into, but should just be a matter of these M4s chewing things up. Minio on the MP9. Where's he at? He's actually over towards mid, so not going to get much of an opportunity to have impact here. M4A1, though, a little dangerous to go that close and personal. Key playing a dangerous game, but he's got the Julies, as I forgot. He's got more ammo than those, and he's got in his M4A1, so it's easy.
That was the play. He's like, you know what? He teases them. He's like, look at this. I've got an M4 up close and personal. Look close to me. Look, try and swarm me. And then he's got dual Berettas to deal with that. 10-7 for 9. It was definitely a bit of a risky play, though, but I think they want to show this confidence in the early stages here. We might even see them temper it off a little bit now coming into this first gun round, where they'll maybe put down some similar utility, but they probably won't go as aggressive with it. They'll allow B8 to use what is already limited utility themselves to ensure that they don't get pushed on once again. Just run things down in the early moments. Yeah, that looks to be pretty much the case. As you can see, Key is putting in the bullets and such, but he's not going to be going as far forward. He's happy to sit back and just make them think that he could again be up close in this corner, that he could be waiting with a flash from a teammate or something along those lines. Just waste some seconds here in the early moments.
Force them to clear the corner with util as well as they come up. As you said, these kind of buys a little rough around the edges, so anything you can bleed out of them early, always going to be a positive, as we see them now starting to line up their ramp take. He is going to start thinking about the aggression, thinking about the angles. That's got a little bit of util there, as there's the team flash. Backs out of the situation, though, just as this T side looked to swarm. There's the early pick for Hades, and he's well set with his teammate. Combines beautifully for a 3-piece. With only the one trade found, this round once again feels like it's just been gutted. Potentially half a gap, though. They might have found the one break in the armor here. Kylar, playing out of heaven, is playing the shoulder peak, will concede the site. Looks to deny perhaps the bomb plant at this point as he plays around the generators. Counter util comes in. Molotov to try and flush them into the open. Kylar gets the freebie. And Owner at this point, I mean, he's been a hero for BA, so this is going to take something truly special. And he can only get the first. Cleaned up by 9 once again. 11 on the board. That CT side starting just as strong as their T did.
Yeah, and I mean, they're willing to take some risks here as well, which is what you want to see from them. They kind of took that approach that I was saying early on, where they bled down the bit of utility, then they forced B8 by the time they are finally coming into some of those fights. They pretty much take them dry because they don't have any flashes left. They don't have too many smokes or mollies and such that they can just waste. They want to keep those for once they're ready to hit the bomb sites themselves. So they're caught off guard by those fights coming through around the gap to the smokes and such. It's just a nice little team play from 9. Hades.
Faster this time.
Could be dangerous. A lot of nade damage goes in at the very least, but there were some Tech 9s up close and personal there that worried me.
Always a scary prospect, and they're waiting it out as well. Just a delayed pop in, hoping maybe to catch a reload timing. Hades is thinking about the push up as well. This is dangerous. He gets one, needs to get out of dodge swiftly though, playing the headshot angle. Those techs are clinical. Gets away with it. Able to retreat to the relative safety again of that site. A little bit of wallbang damage comes through, just chipping away at these techs before they can get into a position to do too much work. There's the smoke. And up the alleyway they will start to head. 2 players spotted out. Key looks to bait and switch for his teammate. Minio's got them on the ramp push though, and this is a demolition job. Wrinkle, a solitary kill on entry, and that is it. 9 dispatch of the half by, brutally so. Gap now at 5, and they've built themselves back up that comfort zone, right? That T side was a little sketchy, a little back and forth, but a clean start to their CT half, and they've built themselves up a nice little buffer.
Yeah, doing so in a solid fashion as well. This is looking a bit more like the 9 that we had back on Mirage. We did say they were T-sided, but they've also just played this map so damn much that they must have a good CT side as well, considering they've only lost it twice. And one of those, again, was in a double overtime against Astralis. So if you're putting in solid enough CT sides to compete with Astralis, then I think you're okay. But right now, anyway, it's a gun round that BA have to win if they want any hope of beginning to salvage a T side of their own. It's a double peak though on mid that's set up. I like the 2 different angles, unfortunately though. BA had a lot more presence, so they're able to trade it out and come out with at least a 3-on-3 for the moment, which is not bad for the
Really
T side,
good.
especially so early on.
Yeah. I'd argue it's a really good trade. In fact, you can see the CT defense is now rather strung out. A couple of players working their way over towards B. And it is just Hades here. The one hero AWP to get it all done, and all the timing on that angle is so nasty. Does well to get one on the recovery. Falls back to the relative safety of the generators. Bides his time, calls for the rotation. They'll clear out mid for him and confirm that he can keep his eyes on this bomb site. Plenty of angles to choose from. Hades can't land the shot though. Now he's in trouble. Still alive and kicking, but the Molotov is surely to come at any second. There it is. Now he's smoked off, but his teammates are here. He's bought the time. As much as he misses the shot, he stays alive for long enough. Kylar on the flank. Key from heaven. 13 for 9. Despite these early trades, perhaps not the most ideal thing in the world, it's beautifully recovered again. You can just see the CT side are so well drilled in how to play this.
Yeah, and that's when you can afford to have those couple misses like Hades did, because he's just being such a nuisance, staying alive, allowing a rotation to begin to come in as well, and just wasting so much time as they're trying to deal with him that they can't even get in on that bomb plant securely. So great work from Hades. He's 23 and 8 right now. He is having a fantastic game, and he's only going to keep on going. And despite taking a bit of damage there, I think, from the scout, doesn't matter, as the numbers continue to dwindle on the side of B8. Wrinkles left alone with just the deagle. One little kill there comes in from the scout, but I mean, at this point, damage doesn't really mean a lot. There's a stable enough economy on that CT side, and they're very, very near that finish line.
It's that point again, isn't it, where suddenly money's not really the concern. It's the rounds that you just haven't posted, right? We've yet to see that T side post a round. We've yet to see them really break the defense. It's not like 9 have really required too many clutches either, which is what we saw a bit of on their first half on their T side. This time it's been very smooth. Very clean, very clinical. And with these rifles out, BA looking at last chance saloon very early on here. 7-round buffer for the CT side, and B8 know they got to change the picture. A little bit more proactive, a little swifter into the scaffold. They are going to start trying to work their way up. Key is on a tough old angle here. Smoke keeps him protected for now, but he's got multiple bodies looking for this kill as soon as it fades, and he knows it. Tucks in, tries to stay alive, waits for the flash. It is good for 1, and the double up. Key, an absolute monster again, gets an early double kill. Low on HP, sure, but he can retreat out as far as he wants at this point. There is nobody there to find the trade. Ola only now starting to work his way up into the angle. Will take a dink for his trouble as well, as Minio continues to trade his teammates away. Finally, they put him down, and finally they buy themselves a little bit of space, but it's too little too late. Goofy, all the while, working his way through the backstab, gets 15 on the board. This is a clinic from 9.
Yeah, the CT side so much better than what we were getting on the offense, which again is surprising because I think they get like over 60% of their rounds normally on that T side. They're the more T-sided of these two teams. B8 though, on the other hand, I mean, their stats, they could be a little bit more misleading. They're not quite as strong on this map in general, so it can be hard to judge. And also the level of competition that they're against sometimes is quite as high. Hades this time will have a miss as he tries to peek down the ramp. Found success there multiple times. Again, it warns them off. It lets them know that 9 are willing to take these peaks, that you have to be constantly cautious of that coming true, so you can't just work in freely for map control. They will slowly work their way at least in towards the scaffolding, but again, you're cautious that Key might be a crazy corner.
Yeah, you're just so conscious of the possibilities, right? This CT side has been so clinical. There's the flashbang, there's the peak, there's the freebie. Hamster, at least this time, able to get one on the trade. Need a lot more where that came from, though. He's starting to work his way up the alley, and he has got half an angle here, but Hades is ready for it. So alive to the threat, quickly found. He's going to work his way back into the angle as well. Minio there, ready to deal with it. Smoke goes out, but Hades is continuing to lurk it through. Spam down. They know exactly where this is. Hades gets one. Amster does very well on the off angle, trades out Minio, and that makes it a little sketchy now. Amster waits the fading smoke out. If he can find Hades, this is on. The bomb is still down, and that's the concern, though, as Hades flicks on through for another. And Wrinkle is left 1v3. Surely an impossible nut to crack. He's still got to get the bomb off that ramp as well. 25 seconds on the clock. Hades ready and waiting for this exact play. Just worked his way into the angle, which might start to play in Wrinkle's favor, but it won't. Simple stuff, executed brutally. A flawless CT side to shut it out from 9. And that is, well, let's be blunt, that is a hell of a performance from them to get that one shut out in the way they did.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was going to remain competitive. It was neck and neck, A7 at the halftime. We had seen a stretch of 5 rounds, even at one point from B8 on their CT side, which is normally where they don't look quite as strong on Vertigo. So we were thinking, yeah, if they come alive either off the pistol or the first gun round on this T side, then we should see something from them. But they just never came alive. It was a steamroll, and I mean, it's kind of what we expected going into Vertigo. We knew how strong 9 were there on that map. They've had wins against some of the best teams in the world, so it kind of expected, but also at the same time a little bit disappointing, because I think B8 can definitely give more.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because 9 are starting to hit that point with Vertigo where normally there is so much data and so much anti-strat potential out there that you start to see these maps slip, right? They're hitting that point where normally teams will have enough ideas about how to break it. They'll have enough demo review that they can start to look at the gaps and find the space and really manipulate 9, especially on that CT side. But it just doesn't seem to come through. Their timings are so crisp. The utility, I mean, this is where, again, all of those reps and all of those drills really come in. I don't think I saw a missed flashbang. I don't think I saw a flash that didn't get them a kill, right? Every bit of utility is perfect. Every nade finds damage. Every flash finds a blind eye. And it makes it so easy, even when, like we saw on their T side, 9 are like 5-10% off the pace, looking a little bit messy, a little bit rough around the edges, right? But they've just got so much utility and so much capability that it is very, very simple to clean out Vertigo. And I think, again, we've got to go back to that first map, right? Why did we end up on Mirage?
Yeah, I mean, that's one that we'll be kind of racking in our brain for quite a while. Ancient definitely looked like it would have been the go-to. We thought, okay, yeah, free map potentially even for B8 that should give them a position up where if they can just kind of etch it out on either maybe give a fight on Vertigo or steal away Nuke, which we knew was one that they actually had some chance on, then it could have potentially been their series. But the Mirage pick, I think, backfired big time. Yeah, I mean, overall, though, it's just an all-around impressive showing from 9. I thought they were really comfortable as well on that CT side. It did, as you were saying, fantastic with the utility, but also the timings on when to reaggress and just being able to pick out when they'd be able to catch a player off guard was almost damn near flawless. They just felt real at home.
Yeah, I do believe we've got Kyla available from 9 to do a cheeky little interview. Fingers crossed. Not yet. We'll keep rattling on. We'll keep rattling on about how things have been going. I mean, Kyla himself, as we are about to have him on, had a very solid performance. I think between Key and Hades, though, they really did carry it over the line on that third map. I think that's another difference we've got to point out, right? Despite sort of some gaps and some missed shots and some missed opportunities, I think Hades a little bit as well, looking a little flicky on that AWP, as you said on map 1, right? A little bit hot and cold, still dropping down well near a 30 bomb. Hades 24-ish, Key 27 is the numbers I'm looking at for that second map. Buying, again, just so much space for your team. When you're putting up those kind of numbers and the next nearest player is, Owner on 15, who, to be fair to him, had a series for B8, it's going to be very tough for any opposition to match you when you got that kind of talent putting out those kind of numbers.
Yeah, that was something we mentioned, I think, in our kind of pre-game. We were talking about the fact that 9 clearly have some star players that do stand out and can be the ones that push them forward. And I didn't really see that for B8. Wrinkle's stats make it seem like he could have been the man, but he didn't have that great of a series, if I'm honest. Owner was, to me, the one that looked to stand out for B8.
Yeah, he certainly did. I mean, the early rounds of Mirage, he really was the only deciding factor for B8. He was the only player who was finding entries, the only player who was finding kills. Pretty much single-handedly won them that second half pistol on Mirage as well, with the big double kill on the way up the ramp. So he really was the shining light of that roster. I think, again, we spoke about it a little bit in the pregame. You started to see the consequences of missing a player, of missing those pieces, right? We talked about how they've made changes coming off the back of the major. Alex 666 has gone out. Kalash has come in. And a couple of timings, a couple of little things on Mirage. It was the Hades double collat towards top mid, right? Where you could see the idea in principle. They had 3 players. They were going to swing on different timings and they were going to trade that kill. And 2 of them just swung the exact same position, got cleaned out in 2 for 1. And at that point, Hades can back away, gets the AWP out to safety, la da 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 da. And those small things, they don't feel like a big deal at the time. But when you're coming up against a team of the caliber of 9, you're coming up against a team and you know Vertigo is in the back of your mind, just chattering away to you that you know that Vertigo is going to be a nightmare. You have to be clean and clinical on your map pick. You have to make it work. And it was just, again, 5-10% off the B8, maybe a little bit slow. They haven't played yet today. They were eliminated earlier in the major than 9 were, so there's more experience, more warm across the board. But we do have Kylar ready for our interview. Fingers crossed this time we'll get him in. Hey, Kylar, first of all, a massive congratulations. That was a very dominant victory from you guys.
Can you repeat?
Just congratulations, man. That was a very quick and very dominant game from you lot.
Yeah, it was dominant because we were pretty hyped to win the first game in a long time.
Well, let's talk about the vetoes a little bit first, right? Because when we were looking at it and when we were looking at the stats and the numbers before the game started, we thought that B8, go towards Ancient, go towards a map that you've been struggling a little bit on and not really been your best on. Were you surprised to see Mirage coming up at all?
Yes, we were surprised. I don't know why they didn't pick Ancient. We were preparing for Ancient. We really thought it would be Ancient and Vertigo, so glad they picked Mirage. And it happened. I mean, it was good for us, so glad it happened.
Yeah, as you had said there, you were actually preparing for Ancient. That was kind of the only way myself and Wolfie could rectify that. We were like, they must have mind gamed themselves and said, obviously 9 are preparing for Ancient because it's such an obvious pick. They went with Mirage, and I think clearly it still backfired because you guys looked fantastic on Mirage as well. Moving forward, though, on towards Vertigo, things looked a little bit shaky on the T side there. That's normally where you guys have most of your success. What do you think was going wrong?
I don't really know why we are losing rounds. I mean, they played differently than what we expected at the beginning. Then at the last rounds, we tried to adapt, but the menu disconnected when we could win round 3v2, and we lost that. So it could be 10-5, but we made it 8-7 at last. So it wasn't bad. I mean, we adapted after a few rounds that he's playing solo B a lot and other guys playing mid, so we could just go B and win rounds, and we did that, and we came back a bit.
Yeah, you looked much, much better. Once you started to work it out a bit, it looked very, very clean. The one other thing I wanted to ask you about is it came out in the news, I think it was this morning, that you guys have signed nice long-term contracts with your organization. You're going through to the next major, to the CS2 major in 2024. How much confidence does that give you that the organization have faith in you, and how sort of encouraging is it to have that backing for the long term?
It's obviously peace of mind that we can focus on the game. We don't know what will happen in CS2, so it's good that we have some sort of stability to work after player break, and we don't have to mind that stuff. So it's pretty good.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man, and best of luck in the rest of the lower bracket. I'm sure you guys will keep smashing it.
Thank you.
Interesting to hear him talking about that sort of read going into the second half of the T side. We felt it, didn't we, when we were casting it, when we were watching it? We started talking about the quicker pop executes into the B and the A site and sort of working the earlier plays. And clearly that was something they started identifying on the fly as a weakness for B8.
Yeah, and as you said, managed to recover at the end, and then the CT side just looked damn near flawless. I'm excited going forward, as you were saying, just to see how some of these teams are going to perform in CS2, where things are going to be a bit different, where perhaps they can get that early leg up by putting in the hours and putting in the effort. And I think a team like Nyan is a perfect example of one that could creep towards that top tier in the transition between the games.
Oh, absolutely. And as Kailar said, with the backing of the organisation, right, it's one less thing to worry about. It's one less thing to be stressed about. They can focus on both the end of CSGO and the start of CS2 and know that they've got this goal, this long-term vision of qualifying for the first CS2 major. So they don't have to stress about things. They can just focus on their game. And that's, I think, where we see teams perform at their absolute best. And well, they're going to need to continue performing at their absolute best because, as we previously alluded to, they are in the lower bracket of this one. They will be facing the winner of Sprout against, and I'm going to have to try and pronounce this name right, Ignis Serpent, which is currently live and ongoing on one of the other streams. So make sure you jump onto those other streams. I believe ESL CSGO and CSGO C are probably live right now. So make sure you change the letters up at the top. Make sure you jump into one of those other streams and give those guys your support as their games are ongoing. But from myself and Dean, that is it for this evening. Thank you very, very much, as always, for watching, guys, and we'll see you again soon.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.